As you can see, I've got my other camera back, and we are reading Eragon. Alright, the two chapters that we're going to be talking about this day are Admonishments and Magic. Magic is the simplest thing. Okay, I think I'm going to title this one Magic. Yes. Okay, so magic, Brom is going to describe magic to Eragon. Eragon obviously has just confronted a couple Urgals in Yazwick and destroyed them using the word Brissinger while shooting an arrow right into their face. And it exploded, and they both died instantly, of course. He used the word Brissinger, and a blue flame entrapped the arrow, and he was able to kill the Urgals. So, he straps Brom into Saphira's saddle, and Brom wakes up real quick. He's like, oh man, I'm so oh. And Eragon's like, dude, shut up. So then they go camp, and Eragon explains what happened, and Brom flips out. Brom says to him, boy, if you knew what you asked for, you'd not be so quick to inquire. Do not try me. The knowledge you ask for is more complex than you understand. He says, this isn't something you should be taught, much less use. He says, you didn't have any idea what you were doing. Brom was upset. Now, I don't know why Brom said specifically, this isn't something you should be taught, much less use. I think he said it because Eragon is still quite young for a rider, apparently. Now, we know that they're tested around the age of 10 for power. And when they're accepted into the rider's arena or whatever, then that's cool. But what we don't know is at what age they actually were placed before dragon eggs and all that stuff, and when they were chosen for that. So, yeah, apparently Eragon is young, and maybe that's why Brom is so upset. But he does teach us some interesting things about magic. So let's read. Magic has rules like the rest of the world. Your deeds are limited by your strength, the words you know, and your imagination. I love the concept that he uses here, that Christopher Paolini uses, because it's not simply speaking a spell. You actually have to tap into power in and of yourself, and based on what words you know in the language of power, and what your imagination is telling you with those words, that is what the determining factor is on whether or not you'll be able to use magic or not. And I appreciate that. The other thing that Brom says that I wanted to mention was the difference between a rider, a sorcerer, a magician, and a shade. He says this: a sorcerer, just like a shade, uses spirits to accomplish his will. This is totally different from your power. Nor does that make you a magician, whose powers come without the aid of spirits or a dragon. And you're certainly not a witch or a wizard who get their powers from various potions and spells. So apparently the power that is in Eragon, while he may have some innate power that he didn't know about, essentially comes from his dragon. Being a rider enables you to have access to magic. Why? Because dragons are naturally magical creatures, just like we're cats. Which leads me to question, if someone decides to befriend a werecat, such as Angela and Salembum, does that give Angela the ability to use magic as well, or is it only between the bond of rider and dragon that you can have magic? So then we go on, and Brom teaches him Steinar Risa, which basically is, hey, stone, float in the air. And he teaches him how to use that to levitate the stone, and then he also teaches him some other words in the ancient language. He also shows us that it is impossible to lie in the ancient language. However, the elves have perfected the art of sarcasm. Right? Saying one thing while meaning another. Okay, he also says that it's impossible to bring someone back from the dead. This is something that is forbidden, not allowed to do. And what is the last thing that I wanted to mention here? He talks about the Gedwe Ignacio, which is the mark that's on the palm, the shiny palm of the riders. He says that most riders use that specific palm to channel magic through them. You can use your other hand. Typically, you use the one with the mark. Then they continue to spar, and they're on their way to Daret. Daret's going to be our next review. Thank you, and hey, tell your friends about the vlog here and see if you can raise some awareness. I'm going to try and get some other people involved. We've got 17 subscribers. That's awesome. I'm going to go on Facebook and Twitter and some other places and try and drum up some more community and get some more people involved. So if you know anyone that likes Eragon, tell them to follow the vlog. Alright guys.